Rapper Folari Falana, also known as Fowles, has threatened to sue Very Dark Man over the allegation. Now, in a letter, his counsel, Taiwo Olawale, demanded an apology from Very Dark Man. All right, Bikio, let's start this conversation this way. First of all, what do you make of the call by the Nigerian Bar Association on the Nigerian Correctional Service to give details about Bobrisky's sentence, where he did it? You know, there's been allegations here and there, but what do you make of the call by the NBA?
I think it's firmly in order.
Okay.
I would have demanded for that level of investigation.
Okay.
We have become a sorry country when it comes to corruption. And even the so-called EFCC, ICPC, police who are supposed to be law enforcement agents, who are supposed to be our first defense against corruption, they are also neck deep in corruption. The current EFCC chairman told us that within the EFCC there are blacklegs who deliberately sabotage investigation of corruption cases.
Yes, he did.
People, I mean, even the most forgetful Nigerian can go to the search engine, Google, and zoom that story. He said it. He said it, and you cannot say that he didn't know what he was saying, because prior to becoming EFCC chairman, he was a senior staff of the commission. So he knows his people inside out.
He knows the system.
So if we had that from a man who heads the anti-corruption agency, no one should be in doubt that EFCC staff are involved in corruption and play a part in sabotaging the war against corruption. So what needs to be done now is to investigate what Bobrisky said. You see, technology has helped us deal with some problems we had in the past.
Okay.
Whereby somebody will make a call and will say, no, it's fake. No, you can't just say it's fake.
Forensic.
We can discover on our own whether it's fake or not.
True.
It's not enough to simply say, oh, it's fake, and then you threaten to go to court. Later on, you wish that Nigerians will forget the matter. You will not live up to your threat to go to court.
True.
Peter will be threatening to go to court when that audio clip was leaked. The yes, daddy, yes, daddy. He didn't go to court. He didn't find the courage. He didn't find the courage because the tools that were used to verify pointed to the fact that that was his voice. So Bobrisky, Idris Okuneye can deny from now till kingdom come. We can find out. We are not going to rely on his denial. If we know what we are doing as a country, and we are worried about what has happened, and we want this sort of thing to not happen again. It's not in Idris Okuneye's place to tell us that the audio clip was fake. We can find out. The tools are there to find out. So we have to forget about personalities now and look at the grievous claims, the grievous allegations made in that audio clip that was released by what's his real name? Martin Sose, because I don't know how dark he is that he's calling himself very dark. We need to interrogate what happened. Did they put him, was he put in a cell, or simply put in a house where he was not treated like a prisoner. We need to find out. And they must provide proof, just as the NBA has said. They must provide proof. I'm happy that the NBA said the investigation must include the EFCC.
Okay.
Yes, it must include we must know whether some people actually took money from her or not. We must find out.
When you called her her in the court, you said it's a he.
It's confusing.
The court said, said he.
You know, the guy,
it's a
when
man,
you hear him
man
talk,
she.
it's such a shame that a man would put on the mannerisms, the complete mannerisms of a woman.
I think it's just controversial.
It's such a shame. And some of us are even rough foot. Imagine me using her. I mean, Bobrisky, no.
All right, but the embarrassment on the EFCC. Yesterday we talked about it. Just recently, the Ayabelo scenario.
We need to find out. We need to see.
The embarrassment is getting.
And look at, they will come and be making baseless defense. They said, oh, why should a governor accompany him to accompany Ayabelo to the place? Did the sitting governor not accompany Fayose to the place? Did the EFCC under a different leadership not immediately begin the process of interrogating Fayose? Did they not lock him up? Did the governor who accompanied not go back to enjoy the comfort of his wife and family? I mean, let's face it, it's about leadership, it's about political will. A man comes to your place on his own, you kept him for 4 hours, he was patient to wait, he had made up his mind that he would sleep there. Ask the people who are close to Fayose, to Ayabelo, they had given up that he would sleep there. Ask them if they would talk to you truthfully like people fear God. He had given up that he would sleep there that day. Because it's inconceivable to imagine that he will still go back. Somebody that you reported to Interpol.
The embarrassment.
So that one, you see, I see some of the defense that they are putting up. This is our country. People can defend anything. But there are people who are genuinely embarrassed that guy walked back, and then you put on a show. You wanted to now physically arrest him after you saw an opportunity for 4 hours. You didn't take action. You now went to the lodge of the governor of Kogi State to attempt to pick him up. There is nowhere you can sensibly justify what has happened. And in this case, I'm saying the EFCC has an obligation to Nigerians to clear his name, to show to Nigerians that Bobrisky lied. They must do that, and they can't do it. They can't be judgment in their own matter. Let an independent body investigate, find out whether some black legs in the EFCC actually took money from this guy, and we can find out the truth if we want.
All right.
The zeal with which we sweep corruption under the carpet, the zeal with which we just brush aside matters relating to corruption, shows that we do not want to defeat corruption in our country.
Okay.
It just shows that.
All right, Tony, let me come to you here. Names were mentioned. Okay, lawsuit threatened here and there. But looking at the statement from, Falana, and the expose by a very dark man on this issue, do you believe that there are grounds for defamation here?
I think there are grounds for defamation. I listened to the video clip made by Martin Ose, right? Otherwise known as Very Dark Man. Because where he said, so far safe, they do.
Some innuendo.
That's an innuendo, which is completely wrong.
Under the law.
He analyzed that video himself. If he had played that video without even putting all those, he called names. Even, Femi Falana, a human rights activist that we know. So I think on that basis, he maligned them. Yeah, and he who asserts must prove. See, the issue is that he obtained a video clip or an audio clip, a conversation between Bobrisky and the other guy. He shared it himself. He shared it himself. Because this is a private conversation between, So he shared it himself. And they linked it to him, and he shared it, and he impugned some meaning into it. And that's the issue here.
So if he had just released the audio,
if he had released the video without calling names, and we're talking about Femi Falana here, you don't expect him to just let it slide. He's built a reputation over the years.
If he played it, even if he didn't say a word, he's still liable.
Because it's a private conversation.
If some of the content is defamatory in nature, you offered the platform. It's like somebody comes to TVC to grant an interview, and he runs his mouth, he abuses people. Both TVC and the interviewee are liable. So he cannot
even if he played it,
Yes, if he just played it and didn't.
That's defamation too.
If it's defamatory in nature, and those guys didn't do it, and they can prove that they didn't do all of those things, he's still liable.
Some have even said that.
Except they just choose not to press.
How about the case of blackmail here? Is there a case of blackmail? If truly Bobrisky had actually said, okay, yes, that's my voice, is this a case of blackmail here in this?
If Bobrisky says that's my voice, which forensic analysis is here to prove. Blackmail from Bobrisky, right?
Yeah, from Bobrisky.
Because he mentioned some names.
There's been also...
because Fars yesterday came out to say, this is what happened. He called me, requesting for 3 million, so I can stay, out of the prison walls and all that. And I told him, I don't have. I think that's what I heard. So, Fars, he just confirmed the fact that two of them, there was a conversation between the two.
Yes.
Yeah, so on that basis...
Which will now lead us to believe that audio clip was not fake.
Of course, I don't think because of course, Fars didn't say the audio clip was fake. I don't think the audio because if you have listened to Bobrisky in the past, you can actually tell. But I know with the current with AI and all that, anything can happen. But it's still subject to a thorough investigation. It has to be investigated.
All right, BK, let's talk about the internal processes of the EFCC. Can this case involving this allegation serve as a catalyst for broader reform within the EFCC to address internal misconduct?
If the man who has the agency is really determined to cleanse the place, and he gets presidential approval to take far-reaching decisions, because you are a man of God, you are a pastor. There are certain behaviors that are abhorrent, that your faith revolts against. And you see those things being done where you work, where you are the helmsman. You must be sufficiently motivated to put an end to the nonsense. If you are not motivated enough to put an end to the nonsense, then you are not good enough for the job you've been given. Because for some of us, when they gave him that job, we had some expectations.
Confidence and all.
And then we set a standard for him. We are not his bosses. We cannot go and give him the KPI. But in our hearts,
we already have it.
We set... And in many ways, especially in terms of money that they've recovered from corrupt people, I will say that he has done well. He started very well. He's done well in that regard. But he has also made some mistakes, especially in public utterances and all that. He's not supposed to say those things. He will learn on the job. But this is an opportunity for him to use a tooth comb
to sift, to make sure it's clear,
get the black legs out of the place. Whether he will find the courage, and that's why I said
you just said
presidential approval.
But I think
if your boss gives you the approvers and their approvers.
The approvals.
He's got presidential backing, but there are some things that for him to do, some big, far-reaching decisions, he must still refer to his boss. Say, okay, how do I go about this? I would like to do this. Can I proceed, sir? Whether you like it or not, those things are necessary. in the job that is being given, he has to find a way to navigate
monkey water.
Yes, and find a way to still deliver. Okay. He has to find a way. In some cases, he has to talk to the president. Mr. President,
should I go?
When they want to make big arrests, they inform the president. Because the person they want to arrest may actually be the president's friend.
Okay.
They notify the president. You know, I've had sessions with Ribadu where he told me, during which he told me the way they used to do the job. It was the first EFCC chairman.
Yeah, exactly.
And his period was turbulent because he had to get the job done.
That's why
it's always difficult.
The former president actually gave him a lot of backing.
Yes, you have to.
You must show corruption.
Exactly.
To defeat corruption, you must be ready to step on the toes of your best friends, your own best friends, because your best friends may actually be among the most corrupt in the land.
Exactly.
So he has, if he gets presidential approval, go ahead, clean up this place. We will then assess the extent to which he's prepared to exercise that presidential approval that he has got to clean up such a dirty place. Okay. Because if we do not clean up the EFCC, we are wasting our time.
Sure.
We are wasting our time. There are things we can't say here, but they know that we are saying the truth.
Sure.
That is what matters.
It's really embarrassing. All right, let's go over to our next one.
Apart from the EFCC, the prison service too. We need to look at that.
Yeah, we really need to look at
somehow
things are happening.
Investigations.
Yes. Why is it that some prisoners get preferential treatment? A person convicted is not bigger than any other convict. You get convicted when you go against the law of the land. Why do we have a system that allows some people to come into the prison armed with their phones?
Giving a VIP treatment.
Yes. Remember during the Oputa panel when people saw Al-Mustafa with this Not 9 Not of those days. The person was in detention.
Yes.
So the investigations that we want should extend to the prisons. There are bad eggs there as well. Those who are ready to take money from Satan. They need to investigate them. On this matter, we need to know. I think the NBA has said it that.
You need details.
Where did he stay?
Exactly.
Where did he stay? In what cell did he stay? They should be able to tell us. These things are not difficult to find out.
All right, gentlemen. All right, gentlemen. We need to pay some bills. We'll be back after, and when we return, the conversation continues. It's still Journalist Hangout.
Every second, every minute, every hour, and
quality wires and cables. Come and come back, light up your life. Come and want to light up your house. Come and want to give you better. Come and next to hooking everywhere. Come and cables. Come and wires. Come and quality. Come and durable. Come and cable. Come and cables. Come and wires. Come and quality. Come and durable. Come and cable. Everybody, come and see. Come and wires. Wonder things. Brother, sister, uncle, auntie, go get your own. Come and wires. Come and cables. Come and quality. Come and durable. Come and cable. Come and wires. Come and cables. Come and quality. Come and durable. Come and cable.
Coleman Wires and Cable. Great quality. Now with the new look.
This program, Alafia Eko, is to ensure the health and well-being of Lagosians. Namely, what we do here is to screen Lagosians for silent killers, such as hypertension, diabetes, and prevent these conditions from causing complications.
Fún ìlera ètò ọ̀fẹ́ tí ìjọba Sanwó-Olú tó gbé kalẹ̀ fún wa torí nǹkan tí oògùn sọ́ńtàǹsì ó ti wọ́n jù owó tá a fi ń rògùn ó ti wọ́n jù wọ́n dẹ̀ fún wa lóògùn yẹn lọ́pọ̀ yanturu wọ́n fún wa lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́.
wọ́n fún mi lóògùn wọ́n fún mi ní gíláàsì gbogbo ẹ̀ tí mo tó wà òkè tó ìdí èkó ò ní bàjẹ́.
The kind of service I enjoy today is very excellent, and I think it's worth mentioning. That's to give kudos to the initiator.
All right, if you just joined us, it is still Journalist Hangout. I still have Tony YJ right here and also BKO. Let the conversation continue. NYSC orientation camps across Nigeria erupted in jubilation over approval of the new allowances of 77,000 naira for corps members with effect from July 2024. In a letter, the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, signed by the chairman Eponta, said the increase is in line with the enactment of the National Minimum Wage Amendment Act 2024. It's a good time for one to be a corps member right about now. But, Viko, the federal government approving 77,000 naira for corps members. This is good news, don't you agree?
Yes, it is. Every time we come up with a new minimum wage, the corps members would also benefit. When the minimum wage moved to 30,000, they gave them 33,000. This time around, it's 70,000. They are getting 7,000 more. We have to commend the DG of the NYSC, Brigadier General Ahmed, because he actually went to see the Salaries Commission boss, Eponta, to demand that the welfare of corps members must be made paramount. And this has come to justify and to reward his advocacy for the corps members under his care. So it's a good thing that this has happened. 70,000, I heard some people saying it should actually be 70,000 a day on my wall. And somebody said, can you pay your workers, if you have any, 70,000 a month? You know, because it's so easy to sit on social media and say absolute nonsense.
Exactly.
For corps members serving their country, what they are earning is not even salaries, allowance, but it's significant. During our own time, the Alawi, as we call it, was 250 naira, not 250,000. So 250 naira was.
But it was something at that time.
Even at that time, I could still save money.
Oh, really?
My younger sister was preparing for ICANN. I still saved money from it and bought accounting books.
Oh, books? Textbooks?
Yes. My uncle, Faleke, came to Kaduna to see me in the Compass Lodge, and he said, your sister is preparing for ICANN. Won't you
contribute something?
As a big brother.
I went inside, gave him money to take back to Lagos.
Wow.
To give her, and she bought books. She was very grateful today, and she passed that ICANN exam in one sitting.
Wow.
Today she is executive director of corporate and investment banking at Access Bank, but she still remains grateful.
Just that little.
From a corpus or corps members Alawi. I've heard that word does not exist. From a corps members Alawi, she was able to get some books. So the money had value at that time, though it was small.
Sure.
It had value. We ate well. we'll buy yam, we'll even host parties, you know, from our Allowance. So,
but with this 77,000 naira, if you're good, if you're, you know, manage yourself, I think you can at least save.
Yeah, you know, transportation cost.
Yeah, you know,
is what really, yes, transportation cost eats up people's salaries.
Sure.
If transportation cost is reduced drastically, they will be able to get by. They will get by with 77.
Well, I want to believe that maybe before the end of this year, maybe the Naira would, you know, grow a bit of muscle. But let's talk about the core members. Apart from increasing this core members' pay, what, in your opinion, should the federal government be also doing, the government be doing, for core members in terms of security-wise, in terms of employment opportunities,
skill acquisition and all that? Yeah.
What are the things do you think are...
I think more on they should invest more in skill acquisition, because everybody's going to come out today to start, you know, wearing tie, seeking for
the white-collar
jobs and all that. You know, so while serving, it's advised that skill acquisition should be a key, key part of serving your country. Not just go there and every morning you come and do parade, jump the ropes.
Yes.
It goes beyond that. You prepare them for tomorrow. If the school cannot provide it, I think NYSC should be able to do that within, that period of mobilization. It's something. And then in addition to that, the 77,000, for instance, when you are now posted to an organization to serve, apart from the 77,000 coming from the federal government, your employers, to most times, add to it. So at the end of the day, you may be earning up to 100,000.
Yes.
Just as Jide said here, he was able to save. But my problem right now is the present generation cannot save. They've not bought data, they've not bought phone, they've not browsed, and all that. So a lot of distraction. That time, you can actually save.
Yes.
You can save. And this 77K is not small money compared to minimum wage, which is 70. So most of them are even earning more than their parents.
Exactly.
So I think I commend the government here, because it goes beyond 77K. They've definitely, at the end of the day, earn more than. So if this is a time to try themselves, you can actually save. To imbibe the saving culture, you can save. Because of Nigeria, because this 77,000, some families are actually living on it.
True.
So if you're paying a couple, I've gone online, I see a lot of people say, "Wow, I want to go back to, I beg government, I want to come back and serve. Can I come back and serve again?" Because unemployment is, what it is in Nigeria. So if you're, as a copper, government is paying, from 33K, we know things, we know our currency doesn't have value, but from 33,000 to, you know what I mean? So you should be able to utilize it. Yeah, I think I commend government for it.
So talking about training, like myself, I got a radio job right after NYSC. OBS and all. But what are those things that you think the government should do, to also better the lives of core members?
Yeah, there's a lot that they can do. I think the core members also need to be insured.
Insured?
Yes, health insurance is important, and there are some risks. There are some risks associated with youth service.
Okay.
So some of those risks, government can help get them insured against some of those risks. I also think that there should be compulsory military training for core members. We need to take this thing has been there since 75. We need to add to it. There are responsibilities that they take. For example, if you stop medical doctors amongst the core members from working in a state like Lagos, for example, Lagos will be in trouble. Because so many of them are posted to hospitals, tertiary hospitals, where they are providing service. Some of them are posted to primary health centers in the rural areas. They are providing service. In some places, a good number of the teaching staff are actually core members. So there is a lot. Yes, there is a lot that they are doing. So if government were to get them insured, for example, it won't be a bad idea, but I still think that a compulsory military training, because Other countries do it.
Yes.
Once you get to a particular age, you have to go and serve your country.
Like a year.
South Korea. Remember the great tennis player Ivanisevic. He had to go and do national training. In Israel too, you serve your country.
True.
So when war comes, those are the people that Israel will use as reservists, and some of them are young. You know, when war comes, they'll be able to draft them. Especially in emergency war situations. So we also need, if we can't do that, how about agriculture?
A lot.
We have left only about 15%, less than 15% of, not more than 15% to be on the safe side, of our arable land has been cultivated. So we can use the NYSC, use core members to get involved in agri-production on a much bigger scale and incentivize it for them.
To make it attractive.
Yes. What are we doing with all that land?
All right.
If we've cultivated not more than 15% of the entire arable land in our country, then we've not done enough.
Exactly.
And these core members, a lot of them do not actually have so much to do.
Sure.
Get them involved in agri-production. Introduce a scheme, institute a scheme that will even reward them for getting involved in agri-production. You see that food production will not be a problem anymore.
All right, let's move to our other story. Now, the fragile industrial harmony in the university system in Nigeria is about to be disrupted. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, is running out of patience over unfulfilled agreements, as it has issued a 14-day ultimatum to the federal government to settle their unpaid debts and allowances. ASUU President Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke expressed frustration with the government's lack of commitment and delay tactics, insisting that the union should not be held responsible for any industrial disharmony that may follow. Now, the union is demanding conclusion of the renegotiation of the 2009 federal government ASUU agreement based on the Nimi-Briggs Committee's draft agreement of 2021 and the release of withheld salaries due to the 2022 strike. Mikhail, to have a more stable academic calendar is not rocket science, because it's always, but what do you make of this, the 14-day ultimatum issued by ASUU to the federal government, and how credible are the issues raised?
So these issues have been there for some time. They talked about why they will want the 2021 agreement, because in 2009, there was an agreement that was entered into with the then Yar'Adua administration. Yes. It was then agreed that from time to time that agreement would be reviewed. Government decided not to do any review. University staff, teaching staff, are still receiving the same salary that they've been on for many years. That is an issue. They talked about the need to freshen up infrastructure in the universities in our country. You need to see infrastructure in some of the schools, the hostels. They are like pigsty. So these issues is like every government just kicks the can down the road.
For the next administration.
Let them go on. Now, the Nimi-Briggs, it was the Buhari regime that set up the Nimi-Briggs committee.
Yes.
Nimi-Briggs was a professor of obstetrics at the University of Port Harcourt. He recommended 2 million naira monthly salary for professors. Professors today do not earn up to 600,000.
Yeah, very.
From what I was told. He recommended 2 million for a professor. These are people that you've not reviewed their wages for many years. I don't think it was bad to say 2 million for a professor.
Not bad.
Many countries of the world value teachers much more than we value them. We see them here like dregs of society. We see them here like the Lazarus Stratum of society. You know, the Lazarus stratum of society is the poorest, is the most insignificant. That's the way we see them. So, Neme-Briggs report is submitted to government. The same government that instituted the panel refused to implement its decisions. Okay. I mean, how do you set up a panel on your own when you already made up your mind that you will not implement his findings, you will not implement his recommendations? I mean, it's very bad. Now, look at, to show you that successive governments are always provoking ASUU. In June last year, the Industrial Court gave a judgment that ASUU should be disenrolled from IPPIS, the obnoxious IPPIS that was created in complete disregard to university tradition of people going for sabbatical, visiting professors, you know, and all that. They are never captured in the salaries that those universities pay. IPs, if you go to a university now as a research fellow, yes, which is the tradition worldwide, you will never be captured in IPs. So it is IPs is destroying the well-known university tradition, which allows cross-fertilization of knowledge. IPs is completely antithetical to it, and they said no, do something. They went to court. They won in court. More than a year after they won that case, it has not been implemented. How do you describe that if it is not provocation? And then you see the minister giving the feeling that, look, don't worry. Between the minister and the Ministry of Finance, what are they doing that you cannot solve that problem? That's a court of law, a competent court of law. That is the only court that has the power to adjudicate on industrial matters. And it gave its judgment. It gave its judgment. You refuse to implement it. Oh, what's the delay about? Now when they go on strike now, we'll start abusing them, and then the government will be rushing to quickly implement. I mean,
but this is an agreement. Why is it so difficult for you? Made an agreement.
A lot, and see, the government is a continuum.
True.
Since 2009, you've seen those agreements. Buhari came, and in 2021, it was reviewed, and they've not implemented it. There are other things like their earned allowances and all that, like the issue of their money.
No work, no pay.
Yes, their salaries. On that one, I will appeal to this president. Because he wasn't the one who seized their salary. He wasn't the one. It was President Buhari who insisted that they won't be paid. Whereas even during military era, whenever ASUU went on strike, their salaries were paid. The same government that didn't pay the salary of ASUU is research workers, those in those agencies committed to research. They've been on strike for so long, government was paying their salary, but it refused to pay that of ASUU.
Okay, Tony. Looking at this, there's been dialogue upon dialogue. But why is it that the Nigerian government, when it comes to agreements, why is it so difficult for them to... You made this agreement, they didn't force it on you.
For me, it only shows how education has been recognized, you know, has been prioritized in Nigeria. Because a country that believes in education won't be doing this. Truly, it's from successive government, you know, but it's a continuum. I remember what happened with ASUU with the last administration. On this desk, we talked about it on a regular. Nothing changed. They will call for strike, they will wait for them, they go on. They will go on this strike, they will not honor agreement. Agreement is agreement. At times it's gentleman, you don't need to put paper and pen.
Do you think the Nigerian government is abusing the idea of a dialogue?
No, it's not. I think it's more on education. Yeah, it's more on education. Because truly, look at ASUU today. Let's even go to these federal universities today. You just need to visit some of them and see what's going on there. They're underfunded. Yes. Sometimes you see a professor, when you look at them, we pity them.
And in
We
the
pity them.
2023, in the 2023 budget, these monies for the revitalization of infrastructure was put in that budget.
Oh, in the budget?
Yes, because I remember that Gbajabiamila Miller made sure that he put it so that the strike can end. They put the funds, then release the money.
Exactly.
Release the money.
Okay, let's talk solutions now.
Solutions.
I think there should be
nobody wants strike. We've been to school. I went to university, and I added 1 full year because of strike. So nobody can subscribe to strike. But do the needful. Listen to them. They are parents too.
Okay, but do you think the government is just maybe a year plus?
No, I think the federal government can actually do it, and I want to appeal to the federal government, present administration. So please, look into this issue.
As a matter of urgency.
Yes, and sort it once and for all. It's doable. It's doable.
It will be very bad if the Tinubu administration allows ASUU to go on strike. It will be very bad.
I pray they don't.
It shouldn't. It will be a dent on the administration. Because Mr. President promised during his campaigns that he would not allow academic calendar
4 years before,
to be punctuated by industrial action. So he has to honor that vow. He has to ensure that this strike does not happen.
Sure.
The minister was an academic himself, as Juni made. He has to do whatever it takes. He and Sununu, the Minister of State, they must make sure that this strike does not happen. Otherwise, it is tomato on their faces if this happens.
Sure. All right, let's go straight to our final story. According to a popular saying by Yoruba people of southwest Nigeria, great men accomplish great deeds. In a show of this, a renowned industrialist, philanthropist, and founder of Bua Group, one of Africa's leading conglomerates, Abdul Samad Isiaku Rabiu, has extended a generous donation of 2 billion naira to aid victims and support recovery efforts in Maiduguri, Borno State capital, over the recent flood disaster. Now, this donation is in response to President Bola Tinubu's call to the private sector to offer support to the flood victims and aid recovery and rebuilding efforts in the affected areas. What a time to relish a beautiful quote from Leo Tolstoy, which says that the sole meaning of life is to serve humanity. Tony, let me come to you here. Abdul Samad Isiaku Rabiu showing high level of philanthropy here. Don't you agree?
You're talking to shell out 2 billion at this.
2 billion?
That's huge. That's humongous. You know, I commend them for it, for showing, love to the people of Borno State at this time. It's not easy. And I want to use the opportunity to commend others. Because so far, I think they've been able to do about 12 billion plus now, rising, to Borno people, to alleviate their what they encountered during the flood.
Yes.
And I hope, I pray that the state government will judiciously appropriate this fund.
No, they've actually set up a committee.
Yes, they've set up a committee because if someone can just shell out, but you know what 2 billion is?
It is, man.
He's expecting his eyes be there to make sure that after donating that money, what he's going to do next is to sit down and watch that money being spent judiciously and make sure there are no mistakes. That's what, so they can get to these people, they can go back to their homes, go back to school, where a lot of things happen, go back to their normal lives, because a lot of things happen within that period. It has never happened, Borno of all places,
It is.
So it's devastating. And I commend all of them, and I commend most especially Alhaji Ahmad for that.
1 billion naira and also 1 billion naira in relief materials.
In relief material,
Your thoughts on that. And then the next one I'm going to ask you, apart from cash donations, relief materials, what other thing do you think the Borno people, the affected people in Maiduguri, Borno State, what other thing do you think is needed, apart from money and cash and relief materials?
I think first and foremost, the rehabilitation of that dam has to happen.
Has to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Because the rehabilitation was in the plan.
Okay.
But a lot of pussyfooting happened. And they didn't do it on time. By the time the the rains were unrelenting.
Okay.
And which led to one of the channels, overflowing, and the whole city was literally submerged. So they need to do that, because if they don't do that quickly, this problem will happen again. Because what caused it has to first be addressed. That is the best they can do for the people. There are houses that they will need to rebuild because they've been compromised. The integrity of those buildings have been compromised. You imagine flood that rose to the lintel level for many buildings. So those, to save lives, they need to reconstruct many houses. But we have to give credit to Danjuma Foundation as well. They donated 1 billion. It was Gloria, the daughter of the T.Y. Danjuma, that made that donation. Then Zenith Bank, 300 million.
Wow.
Aminu Abdullah Irano, the popular oil magnate, donated 50 million, and they also committed to free air services to guests. Then they are going to deliver food and Sheyi Tinubu and his friends donated 1,000 cartons of spaghetti, 1,000 cartons of tomato paste, groundnut oil, 200 bags of maize, 500 bags of 25 kg rice, 10,000 loaves of bread, 200 cartons of Maggi, 1,000 bags of salt, 100 cartons of sugar, 5,000 mosquito nets, 4,000 blankets for warmth, 4,000 wrappers, 10,000 mats, 35,000 packs of antihypertensive drugs, 26,000 packs of anti-malaria drugs.
That's huge.
Sheyi mobilized his friends.
Really huge.
They didn't just donate money. He brought doctors to town. I saw somebody ridiculing him that, he was received by Shehu of Borno. He has turned himself to a government official. I then said, you are an ignorant fellow.
Very, very ignorant.
Anybody who wants to assist Borno at this time, the governor will be available to receive.
Exactly. That's what it's after.
It doesn't have to be somebody in government. You see how ignorant people who are populated social media think. If you want to, there are some companies that are also coming.
Sure.
Because people have responded well to the president's demand that Nigerians should rise up and help the state. If they are coming, if they want to see the Shehu of Borno will receive them.
Sure.
His palace was submerged.
Exactly.
The governor will receive them. But the governor is waiting to receive.
Not when they receive them.
So what is the thing? It's not just because he is the president's son, but look at the empathy that he has shown.
I mean,
how come it is difficult for people to even appreciate these things?
Look beyond the person.
I mean, you don't have to extend the hatred that you have for his father to the son. Look at what he has done. Look at the empathy. Good people show empathy in times of poor people's yes. You are not looking at the empathy, but you are angry because Shehu of Borno received him. Come on.
It's just a toxic.
So what is the thing? You are not, look at all of what he has done. And he has shown an example that we cannot leave our own to suffer. Today is Borno.
It could be another state tomorrow.
Yes. We are suffering from climate change related issues because even the rainfall pattern was irregular and unpredictable.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
So let's appeal to Nigerians to continue to assist this state, and our friend Governor Zulu will be happy to receive help. And it's not everything that is translated to money.
Exactly.
Yes, some of them are pledges. He has not received the money. So when people say, it's not,
they started counting.
It's already. Some of them are pledges. He has not physically taken delivery of money. So those who major in simply
calculating
negativity, let's talk to them. Let's talk to them. If you are not prepared to assist people in need, don't abuse those who are helping the needy.
So keep those toxic comments.
Yes, keep them to yourself.
If you're not ready to assist.
You are not ready to assist. Some of us, through the little contributions that people are making, we have helped.
Sure. Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen. Tony Wine. Thank you very much for having this conversation.
Thank you so much, Benga.
VK, the vet.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having this conversation.
You.
And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11 and join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Of Lagos is about to witness another night of comedic madness from the rural king himself, alongside the best of the comedy and music industry. It's Akbararo vs. Akbararo live again in Echo Hotel, tagged the craziest of them all, featuring AY, I Go Die, Gordon, Clint the Drunk, MC Danfo, Freemount, musical performances by Terry G, African China, and Flector Man. On the wheels of steel is DJ Sizzy. Special dance performance by the Explicit Dance Group. Your host, Rain Jotta. It promises to be a night of maximum entertainment and 100% madness as usual. Venue,